Okay, hopefully we are live right now. Running a little bit late, but hopefully all is well with the stream. Trying to get everything worked out, sorted out. Should be open to everybody now. We will find out. I encourage the chat. Yeah, it's echoing because I think the audio is good and everything. Brown sugar, if you're trying to figure that out, it should be good anyway.
I don't know, man. You've been telling me you were live for like last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And every time you're like, oh, wait, I forgot to do something or we're not live, so.
Yeah. We we ran into a technical issue that hopefully nobody had to be subjected to. That's why we're a little late here, so I apologize for keeping everybody waiting.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, it started out with like me being really nervous and then I was just kind of like annoyed.
Yeah, right. See, that's my tactic to make everybody feel comfortable. I just mess it
Yeah,
up
dude.
completely in the beginning. But welcome to everybody who is joining the stream. I think it's gonna be a pretty good show. We have Brown Sugar back, so if you want to say hi to everybody, Brown Sugar, feel free to do so.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, MBG. I'm glad to be back. A little nervous. You know, I was so nervous that like half hour ago, I was like, I'm just gonna go sit on my toilet because that usually calms me down.
Yeah.
And then I decided to brush my teeth like that was gonna help at
Well,
all
I mean
somehow.
that could actually help a little bit, man. You never know. I mean,
Yeah.
brushing your teeth can be a pretty relaxing experience. But yeah, I think we're gonna have some pretty interesting conversation tonight, and it's gonna be a good time. We have definitely some PlayStation related stuff to talk about. Something I'm gonna want to talk about for a little bit is Dreams, because I started playing this game today, and I do have Dreams gameplay in the background. So you're going to see me messing around with that. At some point, I did actually play PT within Dreams, which was pretty amazing. And you're also going to see gameplay of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So that is going to pop up at some point as well during the stream. But I'm
I'm not
just
gonna
kind
lie,
of...
I was kind of watching the footage in the back, and I honestly thought it was like a Burger King commercial or something. And then I realized that you actually have the gameplay footage of that game that you were just talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, Dreams is really cool. Like, you'll see I'm just exploring a bunch of different stuff here, and I came across some really cool stuff as well.
So have you actually like started playing it or?
Yeah, I mean, there's like apparently a story mode that's just like 2 or 3 hours long. I haven't actually started that yet. I'm not really too much very interested in that. I don't know if I'm going to be playing it too much, but I think I will maybe give it a shot. I'm just the thing I'm really interested in with Dreams, and the reason why I actually went out and bought it is because I wanted to play a lot of the other stuff that people are creating.
Yeah, so like when you when you texted me earlier, you were like, "Hey, I'm really hyped for this game." And then you sent another text where you were like, "Dude, I just played PT." And in my mind, I just assumed like you found a way to play that game offline, whether it's like
No,
somehow
I mean,
downloading
you
it or
can
someone
like
sending
get
it to
it
you.
through people who still have it saved on their hard drives and whatnot, but they're gonna make you pay for it, which I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to go that far. I've watched it on like YouTube and stuff, but what really shocked me is when I actually discovered PT and Dreams, I was not expecting much. I had heard that somebody created it in Dreams, and I was like, okay, maybe it's worth, checking out at some point. But I was genuinely shocked at just how well it was recreated. I don't think it was the entire game, but I mean, it's the closest thing I'll get, and it was really awesome. I was genuinely shocked. Like, I could not believe somebody made that in Dreams. But
So were you just like kind of trying out like other creators' content on there, or
yeah, that's
did you
pretty
try
much what it
making anything
is.
yourself?
I'm not. No, I haven't tried making anything myself. I'm honestly not interested in it because I'm...
I could definitely see you creating your character on a computer and then like recording a video and trying to upload it to see if you could get any
Nah, man.
I don't know what you would try to create, but when I think of MBG, that's what I think of, him just recording videos all the time.
Yeah, I see Devil Child in the chat there. What's up? And hello to everybody just joining. If you could, be sure to hit the like button for the stream if you think you're going to enjoy it or if you're going to enjoy the podcast. But we have we have a couple interesting topics to dive into today. To be honest, it has been a quiet week. Obviously, Sony has been very quiet for a while now. But this week in particular, they were very, very quiet. I mean, there was not a whole lot of leaks, not a whole lot of rumors, not a whole lot of anything. And what's going on, Mr. Hamster? Thank you for joining us once again in the stream.
Yeah, I gotta say, thanks, Devil Child, for modding this chat, and I was really hoping you would kind of come back because I kind of wanted to run some of the comments by him that people left.
Hey man, everybody.
People get really creative sometimes, man. And like, I read this one comment where this guy was like, the podcast was like an audible chloroform, and dude,
that was
I was
messed
like,
up.
that
Whoever said that was messed up, man.
It was just one of those things where I was like, this is so clever. I can't wait to use this on someone. And like, I just kind of been waiting
it was kind of clever
for that moment where like someone that just kind of like annoys me or like use it as a joke. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I remember like coming on your podcast, like the first episode, and someone was like, if it's brown, flush it down. I mean, I still remember that.
Yeah.
So,
people say some really
it's
interesting
clever,
and creative things, for sure.
Yeah.
When when you're doing stuff live. I mean, people, not even just live, but people, anytime they're commenting on something, you find some of the weirdest stuff. But getting into some of the topics here, I think the first thing we're going to be discussing has to do with Sony dropping out of PAX East as well as GDC. And we know why they're doing this. It's because of the outbreak that's happening worldwide, and Sony wants to, they want to put the health of their employees and their workforce at the forefront. And so with that in mind, we know why they're not attending. And you're seeing a bunch of different takes from this. There's some people running with this and, making it sound like Sony is making some kind of massive mistake or that they shouldn't be doing this because they are, I don't know, like they're just hurting themselves by remaining more quiet. And they were supposed to have a playable demo publicly for The Last of Us Part 2, and people were not very happy when they found out, whoever was going anyway, that wasn't going to happen. So I guess basically the big question here, and I did make a video talking about it, but I want to discuss a little bit more here with you, has to do with the PlayStation 5 and the reveal. It's obviously a theme that's going to continue to run through the podcast until, or just on the channel in general, until it happens. And I guess the big question is, can we expect possibly a big state of play PS5 reveal now over a big live reveal event? Because the big difference between the two, obviously, is a massive reveal event means that it will be live, possibly in New York. They're going to be flying people out from all over. They do a big state of play event, or stream, I should say. Maybe not. I mean, it'll still be an event, but it would be a stream. They can kind of pre-record everything. They can make it concise, and they don't have to worry about anything like that, right? Like, they don't have to worry about the outbreak that's going on. They don't have to worry about the health of their employees, per se, and they can really control it. So what do you think about that? Do you think that there's a chance we could see Sony reveal the PS5 during a State of Play live stream?
I don't know. Honestly, the whole health and well-being thing, like, I mean, there's probably a lot of gamers out there who are really upset. And honestly, this was going to take place where, like, in Boston, where the chances of you catching that virus are pretty low.
Yeah, but
and
you
like,
have to understand, though. You have to understand that Sony has people flying out, like, from all over the world. You know what I mean? So it's not like, like they're based off of what I've heard, their main concern is people flying around all over, basically. Because for all people who are going to PAX East, they're flying in from all around the world. So they, you know what I mean? Like, they could be coming from anywhere. But continue. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, that's fine. I don't know. I'm personally a little upset about it because I'm not saying I was going to go to it, but we probably would have received a lot of great news and a lot of great footage and the fans going to it. I mean, it's still the convention is still going to occur. Sony's just not going to be there. And like it's like going to a concert where like the main band is just not showing up and you just have like the opener, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. As far as like the PS5 reveal and everything, I know you were really excited about the month of February and you were expecting a lot of great news, but you know, it's the 22nd, man, you know? And like I'm not saying I was right, but like I think that there may be some issues, you know? I think there may be a lot of setbacks whether it's like manufacturing related, considering that all of this started in China and that's where majority of like things like the PlayStation and some of the technologies developed and imported into USA. So I
Right.
think there's going to be a setback in terms of just not being ready, you know. And I think everything is just going to have to get pushed back. As far as your second point, where them just kind of recording it and showing it off, I mean, I don't know. Is the hype there for that? Like, would you be excited for that, or do you need like an event, like a big event?
Well, I'm going to answer that, but the first thing I want to say is in regards to being worried about a potential, like you're alluding to the idea of the PlayStation 5 possibly being delayed, or not just the PS5, but also, the Xbox Series and whatnot, maybe being delayed because all of this stuff is happening in China, and that's where all the manufacturing is going on and whatnot. Um, I do believe that there was a recent Bloomberg report. I don't know if you saw this or not, but it talked about the PlayStation 5 and how much it costs Sony right now, allegedly, to for the components that are going to be inside the PS5. It totals up to around like $450. But one of the things they mention from their sources, this is Bloomberg, they're claiming they have legitimate sources. One of the things they did mention is that as of right now, this virus is not causing an issue for Sony and their plans as of right now. Obviously, that could change.
I honestly don't believe that at
Well,
all.
I'm
I think
sure.
this is going to disrupt the economy for a while.
Well, we'll have to see. I mean,
And
it
like
is
as
changing on a daily
I
basis,
think
so we don't
you're
know.
still going to have like PlayStations and it probably will release on time, but this is where like the pre-orders will come into
Yeah,
play.
it'd be
And
a
like if I
scarcity
were
issue.
you, I would definitely go ahead and pre-order consoles. Whether you're an Xbox fan or a PlayStation, make sure you pre-order it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're somebody who wants to make sure you have it day one or within the first like month, you're gonna want to make sure you pre-order. But to answer the question you asked me, how would I feel about Sony actually revealing the PS5 during a state of play? Or I would be actually completely on board with that, but they would have to handle it a specific way. I feel like if they were to um, if they were to come out here and announce, hey, we're doing a special, massive PlayStation 5 themed state of play, so make sure you show up for that. I think there would be like immediately a little bit of, well, I don't want to say disappointment, because at this point Sony saying anything about the PS5 at all will create hype. Like literally anything. They could just do a second reveal of the logo just with like a white background this time and black text, and people would lose it. No, not
Sounds
really.
like you kind
People
of
would get
dream about
mad.
this every night. Is that what happens when
That
you go
is,
to
yeah,
sleep?
yes,
You
dude.
just start
I go
having
to
dreams
sleep and
about
I
Sony?
wake up. I wake up with night terrors, like screaming out loud. Why is Sony not talking more about the PS5? I need to know. It's really bad, but
Yeah.
um,
You know what, dude? If you want, you can just create PS5 in dreams and have your character play it if
I'm not
possible.
gonna lie, dude. I went into the search. I was going to go in the search bar and type in PS5 just to see if there was something there. I'll do that. But True
Yeah.
Witty says here, hey MBG, they should do a state of play and have a timed demo on the PlayStation Store for The Last of Us Part 2. It should be a big SOP. I think, well, first of all, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. But I think that's actually a good idea. I think it would actually create like double hype, because you have to imagine that whenever Sony talks about the PS5, they're going to talk about The Last of Us Part 2 to some capacity, and then announcing that they're going to have a playable demo on the PlayStation Store the same day. or at the end of the stream or the next day or something, that would be huge. I think that's actually a pretty smart move, and it would create hype for both products simultaneously. And then we also have JV Rod. Appreciate the super chat. You say thank you. Well, you know what? Thank you for that. I'm glad you appreciate the content here. But yeah, I think.
Really quick. Sorry, I don't know. What were you gonna say?
You were gonna say really quick. What were you gonna say?
No. I was just gonna say, like, after Sony dropped out of the convention, like, the Boston mayor actually kind of responded to it. He's requesting that Sony actually comes to it, and this was like after Sony made that announcement. So I don't think
The
Sony's
Boston
gonna be like,
mayor.
Yeah.
Are you making this up right now? Because I feel like
No,
you're
I
making
think that
this up.
article was released like this afternoon.
Did you read it
I think his
thoroughly? Because that
I
sounds a
did,
little.
yes. It's
Okay.
I think his name is Mayor Welsh. Maybe I'm making this up, but
All
no,
right. Well,
I did come across it.
Yeah. No.
And,
I believe that though.
yeah,
believe
and
it.
he basically wrote a letter saying that he's basically asking him to reconsider because there's obviously a lot of fans and a lot of people excited for this, and like Sony's somewhat being unfair.
Well,
I mean, I don't think Sony's
if the mayor said something, he probably said it in terms of like now Sony is scaring everyone in Boston. You know what I mean? Like they're basically, you know, I don't like to use the term fear mongering, but like some people are basically saying that Sony is now fear mongering by making it sound like this thing is so serious, which it is serious. It should be taken seriously, but I don't think Sony doing this is a bad sign. I think it's just them being cautious. It's just them practicing, you know, safety first, I guess. You know, better to be safe than sorry.
I don't know, man.
That's how I
think
see
he
it.
was like he was kind of calling them out, and he was saying that Sony, you're stereotyping by saying all Asians have this virus and they're gonna infect people. You know?
No, come on.
I mean,
They're not saying that.
Listen. It
originates from China, yes, but it's all over.
Anyway, so I don't think Sony is gonna reconsider, but I do think that like in order to like keep a good front, they might like maybe they'll release a video or surprise fans with something that you're not really expecting.
Okay,
you know? Hey,
so
if you're
no, that wasn't to you. That wasn't towards you. Okay. That was towards the next super chat from Ben Kai. Well, first of all, thank you for the super chat, and this one's for you, Brown Sugar. Why doesn't MBG lift anymore?
I don't know. Didn't you like text me the other day telling me that you were sick or something? Or
yeah, I am
is
a
that
little
the
bit
reason?
sick. I'm a little bit under the weather, but I actually have been lifting. I'll have you know. I'm actually doing a like full body routine right now. I don't know how it's working out for me. I'll report back in a couple of weeks. But
I thought your mom went on a vacation and you didn't have anyone to drive you to the gym anymore. Is that the case, or like when did she get back? Or
no, my mom. I need her to drive me everywhere. Okay, and when she goes out to on vacation, I can't go anywhere. Like I can't leave my home. You understand me? So it's imperative that she's here and she can drive me around in her minivan.
Listen, sooner or later you'll turn 30 and have your license. Just wait a couple more days. You know?
We'll get there. I'm like SpongeBob when it comes to the license, but
listen,
no,
just start buying like perfect pull-up or push-up. I mean, I don't know how much that's gonna do for you, but
I actually used to use that, man.
HGH. Yeah.
But
I'm just kind of derailing this conversation.
Dude, you're distracting me so much here. I'm like, what were we just talking about?
I'm trying really hard to poop on you, and I'm just running out of ideas, and I'm starting to sound a little stupid now.
It's all good, man. But yeah, no. Getting back to what we were just discussing, about Sony dropping out and everything. I don't know. I think people are making. See, now you got people wonder now. Like people are asking, how old am I? Do I actually not drive and stuff like this? Like I try to keep my.
Listen, guys, it really doesn't matter. The main point to keep in mind here is that like he's home, he's gonna be able to make videos and get you guys hyped about PlayStation 5. So
that's the goal, man. That's the goal. But
so do you think that like in next 2 weeks or something, considering that Sony kind of dropped out and like people are disappointed and like people are calling them out, they're gonna surprise their fans with whether it's a trailer or something that we're not expecting, or am I just hoping for too much here?
I wish I could answer. but it feels impossible to do so because
Yeah, I mean it's
I
truly a
don't know
speculation, you
what
know.
Sony wants to do at this point. Um,
Yeah, maybe even Sony probably
he's
know what they
he's
want to
gonna
do
get
right now.
clapped on the bus. See, man, now you got you have people visualizing things now in their heads, and it's kind of
Yeah,
funny because it's like they don't know, and
yeah.
believe
All
it or
right.
not, so
Could
many
you guys
people.
please leave a like if you truly believe that MBG is gonna get clapped on the bus?
Yeah, leave a like. Actually, I should. Yeah, we have over 300 people watching right now. So for those who are enjoying it, be sure to leave a like on the stream. It really helps out. But we have David here. He appreciate the super chat as I drop my headphone here. It says they say Chinatown here in Chicago is suffering from lack of foot traffic because people are all scared about the virus. Now, that's interesting,
I mean,
because
sorry,
this
go
is,
ahead.
well, I was just going to say, this seems to me like one of those situations where I see like two ends of the spectrum. I see people who are basically so worried that they think like this is going to be like a serious like global pandemic. And I see other people that are like, it's really not that serious. The flu is actually something people should be more concerned about right now. And I don't know. I kind of get, I guess I'm in the middle there, but I don't want to spend the entire podcast talking about this virus, but it could have a real impact on on what ends
Yeah,
up
it's
happening.
definitely concerning, and a lot of companies are going to focus on that for the time being when it comes to like having conventions and whatnot. And like personally, even the company that I work for, they actually don't want us to travel to China anymore. Not saying that I was ever going to, but I guess I'm just gonna have to wait to see the Great Wall.
Yeah, was that something you were planning on doing? But
Eventually, yeah.
well, yeah. Somebody says it's already a global pandemic. I don't know. I mean, it's a terrible thing in general, and hopefully it doesn't continue to persist the way it is. But we're gonna have to wait to see about that. So I guess to get back to the whole state of play thing here, I don't know. I mean, I think at this point, unless Sony is planning to not talk about the PlayStation 5 until like May or June, then I think there's a very good chance that we will see it revealed during some type of state of play. I just think that is probably the most likely thing. If Sony is, we look at how serious they're taking this right now, and so I just don't see them having a big live event where everybody
When
gathers
exactly
together.
when exactly do you think the state of play would be? I mean,
Well,
honestly, like
originally I thought it would have been within the first couple of weeks of March because that would have been before GDC, because I thought Sony was going to be at GDC. The reason why I say this is because if they didn't announce the PS5 before GDC, then there was a about 99.9% chance that it would have leaked out. The PS5 to some extent would have leaked out on after GDC happened, because all the developers are going to be talking about. We probably still will get some type of leaks in general, but now Sony's not going to be at GDC. To be honest, man, I'm starting to think Sony might be like waiting even longer. Like I could actually, and I don't want this to be the case because and I'm eager to get information on the PlayStation 5 just like anybody else, but I could see them waiting till May at some point, or even June, to before they, or maybe
maybe
April.
April. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I could
I
see that
I
too.
definitely didn't think it was gonna happen in February because it's way too soon. And like based on these leaks and these articles and like some of the videos that you've been creating lately, it seems like there are there are definitely some concerns when it comes to what we know and what we don't know. So
So Mr. Hamster says
there,
it's going to be at he says it's going to be at Tokyo Game Show though. When is Tokyo Game Show? Because I saw that floating around, and I don't know what the day, like when that starts or when that's happening, so I'm not sure. So maybe somebody in the chat can let me know. Also, somebody says brown sugar sounds muffled. If you guys can let me know in the chat, how do you think brown sugar sounds? I mean, he sounds good on my end. Um, Maybe you can let me know. And we also have Alex Fitz saying, brown sugar, you accuser of the brethren. So it sounds like you made somebody mad in the chat. You made Alex Fitz mad in the chat here. I don't know why, but yeah, maybe okay. It's happening September. Okay, we will definitely for sure have information on the PS5 by September. MBG's talking too much. Apologies. What do you think, Brown Sugar? Do you think we're going to see the PlayStation 5 to some capacity before September?
I don't know, man. I sound too muffled. Now I'm nervous, I can't even think anymore. But
Brown,
no, I think we're
bro.
definitely going to say it like a lot before September. But this is where it's like, I don't know. They backed out of E3 and they backed out of this convention, and like there's just too much speculation. I think we just kind of have to wait it out and see what happens rather than assuming it's going to happen.
Okay.
Like
he said he's a little quieter than me
now in December.
Okay. Well, I mean, as long as you guys can hear him. Yeah,
if you want, I can try yelling.
No, you don't have to yell because that's just annoying on my end.
All right.
Okay. So David here, appreciate the super chat once again, says, to be honest, I don't care how they present it. I'd be stoked even if it was revealed through a state of play. I have to agree with David here. I think it's at a point with the PS5 where the hype is so intense and people like are so desperate at this point. I don't like to use that word desperate because, people make it
excited.
Excited.
Hyped.
People are so excited. There you go. That's a better word. Where I think they could do anything and they could reveal it through Twitter,
I mean, my hype for PlayStation 5 isn't going anywhere, whether they show something now or later, as long as they don't delay anything, especially The Last of Us or the PlayStation 5, just don't move anything around. Do what you have to, release it however you want, whether you're waiting for Microsoft to say something so you can kind of follow it up with something even better, or like just kind of tease your fans through Twitter leaks or like some other leaks. Just don't delay anything.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to see anything delayed either, but I don't know. A part of me just feels like I want everything to happen as smoothly as possible, but I'm sure, listen, like Sony, this is their business. This is their bread and butter, that being PlayStation. They're going to make sure everything goes along smoothly. But Mr. Hamster here says, PlayStation brand is so big they can have their own E3. Yeah, I saw somebody leave a comment when we found out that Sony wasn't going to be showing up at GDC. They said next you're going to hear Sony announce SonyCon 2020. And I just laughed out loud because I was like, yeah, I mean, they could do that and it would be hugely successful. It would basically be like a PlayStation experience. But we do have some other topics here. But you know what? I got to take a second here. All right. I got to take a second here.
Do you have to go use the restroom? Or
no, I don't. I'm going to be talking about a game called Dreams, which you're seeing me playing PT in the background right now. And I got to tell you, man, like this game is awesome. This was a game that I wasn't paying too much attention to. I'm not going to lie. I really wasn't that interested in it because I just kind of thought like to myself without looking into it too much, like it sounds too good to be true. Like this, hearing some of the stuff that people are creating. Then I started looking into it and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I decided to buy it. I started playing it today and I have to tell you, like, there was this level of excitement when it comes to knowing I'm going to just be able to jump in all of these random creations and not know, like, what to expect. And then also finding things like this, like a PT remake on Dreams. I think Media Molecule, the studio that made it, I think they did a fantastic job here. And I just have to give them a big shout out because...
Are they like paying you for this, or like are you just that hyped? Like
no, dude, I'm serious. Like it's a game. Like I know you're not a gamer. Okay.
Also, I love how like the
Brown Sugar is not a gamer. Everybody, I just want you all to know that he wants to keep coming at me. He doesn't game. He's a fake gamer.
Hey,
all right.
Hey,
See, he can't even defend himself because it's true. So I'm gonna sit here and I am going to defend Sony's honor. No, I'm going to defend Dreams because we're honestly, dude, I would even recommend it to you. Well, maybe not you. I don't know if I could see you playing it, but what I'm trying to say is that like it's a very interesting game. It's a unique game, and I'm really surprised, genuinely surprised at how just how creative some people have gotten with this game. And
So,
yeah,
like,
I just had to say that.
is there a steep learning curve? Is it easy? Is it user friendly? Like, tell me about
Well,
it.
it's extremely user friendly if you're like me and you want to and
Must
you
be really user friendly if you didn't have any. Yeah, no, I'm
brown
just
sugar
kidding.
is a casual exposed. I'm shocked. See, you filthy casual
I
brown
really hope
sugar.
someone makes a YouTube channel dedicated to me just ripping me. You know, like just using my comments from this podcast and just like making videos about it.
Dude, everybody check this part coming up here. Well, it'll probably be messed up by the time I'm saying it, but the jump scare when playing PT in Dreams, even
Oh
that
my
was
god,
like,
dude.
it was pretty, it was interesting. But
I remember this part. Like, I don't know why I played the demo for this, but that was right there was when I was just like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm never playing
yeah,
this again.
yeah.
I like how you get this game and like that's the first thing you play. Like you must
Yeah,
really
dude.
love
Well, dude,
horror games. Are there like any
yes, I love horror games. I came across Metal Gear Solid 1. It was just like the little first area that you from the game, and it was really cool. And I'm just like, if people can really flesh these things out, man. I played Crash Bandicoot, which was insane. I played this random driving game where you just literally drive around, and you could tell it's in its early days, in its
Yeah.
infancy, because there's some stuff that's really fleshed out, but most of it isn't. But you can tell, like, the more people get better with it, and you ask the question, like, how intuitive is it? Like, is there a steep learning curve? Yes. Like, if you are somebody who wants to create, you really have to want to create, because it's almost like I don't know. To me, it almost comes off like a little game engine in itself.
Yeah.
It's
I mean
crazy.
there's definitely a lot of very creative gamers out there and it just kind of reminds me of like even like the simplest thing like emblems on Call of Duty. People used to just like completely
Yeah, dude.
overtake such a simple concept and just come up with this ridiculous design. I mean, it's just an example. I'm not comparing like the Call of Duty emblems to this game, but
No, I get
like
what
when
you're
it comes to
saying.
creativity, I
Yeah.
think people will run with this. Do you think that this game will be supported for years to come, or do you think
Well,
there's like eventually
that's
it's
the big
just
question. That's the interesting question. I believe Shuhei Yoshida of Sony, he said that they plan to support it for 10 years. I believe it. I do believe it. They're just going to have to find out how to further monetize it.
yeah
Because, there's a lot. I've seen a lot of people down on this game because it's not getting big marketing. And I've seen people saying that, Sony's, going to pull the plug on Media Molecule, which I hope that doesn't happen. I doubt it. It's going to be interesting to see how it sells. I think Sony was anticipating it was going to sell soft in general. So it's going to be interesting, but I want to see them support it for years to come because, dude, like, the potential of this game is through the roof. It really is. It just seeing some of the stuff that people have already created. I hope it continues, and it's going to be really interesting. And I will certainly be using more footage of Dreams in the future. And yeah, it's going to be a good time.
yeah. I
But
think it'll obviously it's gonna look a lot better on the PS5 and it'll run better. And who knows? We'll see what happens in 10 years. But the
yeah,
fact that like there's just so much to do in this game, and like obviously you know me, I'll play a few things on there here and there. I probably won't create anything myself, but I'm glad. Like I'm glad people are able to create whatever they want and just kind of like publish it and like have other people try it out on there. So that's good.
yeah. So before moving on to the next topic, we have 350 people watching, which I appreciate every one of you here right now. If you could do me a favor, hit the like button, help the stream out, help the podcast out, show your support. And moving on here. So one of the things I wanted to bring up, again, there's not really anything major to go over or discuss within this podcast because, Sony's still being quiet and we're limited in what we can talk about. But I basically made a video, and I'm just interested to see your thought or hear your thoughts on this, where one of the things we know for a fact is that Sony is apparently waiting on Microsoft, and they're taking, quote unquote, a wait and see approach when it comes to the Xbox Series and pricing, and basically making it seem like they're willing to wait as long as they need to for Microsoft to either make the next move or I guess the first move, whatever you want to call it. And I guess, in the video I made, I gave the opinion, I don't think Sony needs to do that. Like, I think that they would be perfectly fine just being confident in what they have and, not having to take that wait and see approach. What are your thoughts on that?
I guess it really depends on who you ask. Personally, I mean, if you're gonna ask like an Xbox fan, he's probably gonna say like he may agree and kind of like going back and forth, and they're like playing the cat and mouse game. But honestly, everybody's probably just doing their own thing. Nintendo is doing its own thing, Sony's doing its own thing, and Xbox is gonna do what they do. And I don't think that like them waiting for Xbox is gonna make any difference on who's gonna buy the what next gen console. I mean, a lot of people have already kind of decided what they're gonna do, so they probably have some other things that they're considering, not like
Probably
how
like how
how we're
much they
gonna
want to release it
compete
for.
with like Xbox or something like that.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm sure they're thinking about it, but not in the sense that like, oh, are they going to wait until Xbox says something? So
right. Well, I'm of the mindset that while I don't think they need to wait or do the wait and see approach, I also can't necessarily fault them for it because I do think that if they believe that this could be the difference between them saying, you know what, the Series X is going to be $500. Let's see if we can hit a $450 price point or even possibly $400. I highly doubt that's going to happen. I mean, at one point, I believe that the PS5 could have ended up being like a $400 console, but I just think that's
yeah,
becoming less and less likely. I think it's going to be a pretty expensive one. Not that I think $500 is overly expensive for what these consoles are going to offer, but I really just don't think that Sony has to. I mean, it's smart of them. I won't lie. It's smart of them, but maybe
but
this is
here's the
just
thing,
the
right?
eager
Like
fan in me.
when you're getting ready to buy the next gen console, are you really going to buy one over the other based on like a $50 price difference or $100, or are you just gonna say, I'm gonna think about this for like next 5 years? What do I
Yeah.
have to look forward to if I buy this or that? And like a slight change or slight difference in the price really won't make it or break it for me at least. I'm gonna
Well,
buy what I'm
yeah.
gonna buy.
That's what's tough because it's like for me and you, it might not make or break, but I guess the real question is how many people will that what will it matter to? Because I have to imagine there is a pretty decent sized group of people, maybe bigger than we realize, that $100 difference is a big difference to them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it's hard to
I
say.
this is where I kind of have to give Microsoft some credit, where they're like, they do payment plan, with their consoles, and
Yeah, they
like,
have done
if,
that.
I don't know if Sony's doing it, but if Sony decides to do that, that would be great. That would probably help a lot of people out.
They could end up doing something like that. It'll be interesting. I mean, you would think that Sony would maybe follow in Microsoft's footsteps in that case, but they probably won't. I don't think they need to, but it would definitely be an effective way to get more consoles inside of people's homes for sure. Kind of treat it like a upgrading to a new smartphone or something like that. But moving right along here, because I feel like there isn't too much to say on that topic, I was just genuinely curious to see what your thoughts were on that because, I think we can both
Yeah.
agree it's probably not the worst move. Like, it's a smart move on their part, but it
Yeah.
leads me
Are you
into.
really quick?
Go ahead.
Not to cut you off. Are you gonna do like any sort of reaction videos when Sony announces some sort of event where they may or may not provide more information
Yeah, yeah, for
on
sure.
just for like the PlayStation 5, or are you gonna like do it for games as well?
It depends. I mean, anytime Sony basically says, "Hey, we have something to share with you and announce, come show up," I'm going to show up and I'm going to stream that. Hopefully, as long as as if I'm able to, depending on when it's happening exactly. But yeah, I would absolutely love to do that, and so that's something that anybody can look forward to. It's going to be a good time, especially whenever we get, whether it's a state of play or reveal event. That's going to be a fun day for sure. E3 is going to be fun too, watching Microsoft's conference, because
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking to see if they can genuinely surprise me. Because if they do, it's going to be captured live, and people will know. Like, they'll see my live reaction to whatever it is they have to announce. So, but
Yeah. Personally, I think that's kind of hard because like whenever I get excited about something or like I'm watching something I'm really interested in, there's no expression. I don't say anything. I'm
right,
not smiling. I'm just like just staring at it like I'm gonna murder it or something. So it's kind of
yeah,
it's
it's a
kind of
little
hard to
creepy.
capture that reaction unless like someone takes a picture of me or something. So good
Yeah.
luck with that. Looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're looking forward to it. Moving on to the next topic here
No,
before
I'm looking
things get
forward to
any
your
creepier.
reaction. I'm not looking forward to like you taking my picture when I'm
Oh, okay. I know. I
not
know.
reacting to
I know what you
something.
were saying. Don't
All right,
worry.
all right.
I'm aware. All right.
Go on.
So, moving along here, this brings up the next topic that I want to talk about, and it's just kind of like some questions I want to ask you as well as the audience because sometimes I feel like I am in a little bit of a vacuum and I don't want to be, but you know, should PlayStation fans or gamers in general, because there are gamers who are genuinely upset with the way Sony is handling it right now, how quiet they've been, their silence is persisting, and there are, when it comes to next generation in general, and there are a lot of fans, or at least some, who are genuinely upset, basically saying, like, this is unacceptable, they shouldn't be doing it like this. And so I guess my question is, looking at 2020 with the PlayStation 4, it's going to be one of their strongest years, if not their strongest year ever. And, looking at some of the exclusive games that they have lined up, we just talked about Dreams, which to me is kind of, it's a surprise hit. It's a critical hit in general. People are enjoying it. We have The Last of Us Part 2 coming out. Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII, the big hitters, obviously. But we also have games like Nioh 2 and, like Persona, I think that just came out, and Yakuza, and all this stuff, Iron Man VR. The point is, it's an incredibly strong year for PlayStation, maybe even their strongest. Does this kind of, like, mitigate it, right? To where, like, if somebody were to get upset and they say to you, man, the way Sony's handling things sucks right now, they're being way too quiet, but then somebody were to come back and say to them, but what about everything they're doing with the PS4 right now? What are your thoughts on that? Like, do you think it's justified for people to be upset?
Yes and no. I think everything is like sort of timed. So if people are getting slightly upset or disappointed with how like Sony is handling everything, that's it's understandable, but at the same time, it's not like they're delaying anything, and it's not like they don't have anything to look forward to when it comes to the year 2020, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I sit here and I think to myself, somebody like myself who is as eager as I am to learn more about next generation, I'm playing Dreams today, and I'm like, this is awesome. I'm
Yeah.
realizing in just a couple months I'm going to play The Last of Us Part 2, or even before that, I'm going to play Nioh 2. We're going to talk a little bit more about that game later. And then even thinking about the end of the year, right? Like getting
Yeah.
closer to the launch of next gen, not even knowing about any PS5 games other than Godfall, knowing I'm gonna have Ghost of Tsushima. I mean, it feels like it's really really hard for me to be upset. I've seen some people. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. Some people acting like Sony is in like it's doom and gloom for them, right? Like it's bad news and things are just going downhill and they're in like panic mode over there, and that's why they're being as quiet as they are. Do you think that's a possibility? Like, or do you think Sony's in any type of trouble, or do you think that they're being very meticulous purposely in their silence?
Yes and both. Yes and no. I think it's sort of both. I mean, Sony's a big company and they've done this for a long, long time. I don't want to say like they've been doing it for millions of years or anything, but they know what they're doing. And I think everything's going to be okay. So I just kind of have to turn this around and ask you, like, are you upset as a Sony fan, or are people upset as gamers? Meaning, are we getting a lot of information from other companies like Xbox or Nintendo? Like, are Xbox fans more happy to PlayStation 5 fans? Is that the concern here, or like,
Well, I think that it's hard to say. I mean, like me personally, I'm not upset about anything really. Like I
yeah, I mean,
personally am of the
where like my
mindset.
casual side kind of kicks in, and it's like I
Yeah,
personally don't see the problem. I'll play the game when it comes out. I mean, I do get a little upset when things get canceled or delayed, but overall, I'm okay with how like Sony is handling things. And I mean, I know for you, like you're more involved and like you're constantly looking for leaks and articles and like you're so hyped about PlayStation 5 and you just want more and more and more information. Where someone like me, I'm completely okay with you just texting me and telling me like, yo, dude, this is how much PS5 is gonna cost. It's not gonna
Did
like.
you hear the PS5's maybe going to be $500? And you're just like,
I was like, yeah,
cool.
cool, dude. I'll
I'll worry about it when it comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. JD
So,
Gamer says here, appreciate the super chat. Says Sony has had the same move for 25 years since they first got into gaming. See what the competition is doing and then react. They are absolutely going to wait. So I think JD Gamer does bring up a pretty good point here where the Sony is known for this tactic. So it's not like, I think maybe this is why a lot of people are not that surprised that Sony's doing this.
yeah.
It always feels like, this is just a type of situation that gamers are in, right? We're like, we want to know more. We want to know more now. But these companies, they have very strategic, like, listen, Sony, in my opinion, they're not in panic mode, okay? If there are things going wrong behind the scenes, because it does happen, things do go wrong, there's a reason why it's behind the scenes and we're not meant to hear about it. It's so they can solve the problem, work it out before the time comes for them to go live with the PS5, and that's all it is. And so, hearing reports that it's going to cost them $450 to produce the PS5, but, I've seen people running with this narrative that this suddenly means, because one of the things, Brown Sugar, that was interesting, and I know you own a PS4 Pro, one of the things that was interesting about this Bloomberg report is they reported that the cooling system that Sony is opting in for with the PlayStation 5 is particularly expensive, like unusually expensive, where normally, considering mass production here, they would probably be paying like $1 or less for their cooling system. They're paying a couple of dollars for their cooling system per part, right, like manufactured, which is unusually expensive. I've seen people literally running with the narrative now that this means they're having serious heating issues with this console. Like they're trying to paint it as a bad thing. Like it's bad that they're running into this issue. And I'm just like over here thinking to myself, like, how is this a bad thing? Like we see what happens with the PS4 Pro. When that thing gets hot, it literally sounds like a jet plane getting ready to take off. Mine has been particularly bad lately. And all I can think to myself is, good. If you can ensure that the cooling is going to be top notch, that doesn't tell me that there's some kind of issue. That tells me they're trying to prevent an issue. And if heat, mitigation is becoming a problem, well, Sony, I have to imagine, like, they would have seen this coming and they would do something about it. And this is them doing something about it by making sure they have a top tier cooling system, not some, cheap part in there. You see what I'm saying? So, like, I don't understand why this is like why people are trying to run with this like it's some kind of problem.
MEG.
It's a non-issue.
It's okay, man. It's okay.
I gotta say some more right now about this cooling system. Okay, I got to rant, man. I got to rant.
Yeah. Going back to what you said, it sounds like a jet plane getting ready to take off. I don't know if I'm quoting you accurately or not, but that's the joke when it comes to their current console. Everyone makes it, everyone says it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with them just kind of focusing on it and try to fix that issue,
Well, here's what I've heard, and this is where things get a little bit interesting. What some people are saying, again, I'm just going to say some people. Some people are saying that they are saying that Sony is doing backwards compatibility with PlayStation 4 games differently than the way Microsoft is doing it with the Xbox Series. And because of that, they have to, and they're also they're like overclocking, like they're clocking, this console as high as they can, and all that really equates to is the higher they clock it, the more heat it's going to produce. And this is where it's stemming from. People are saying that they're running into like heating issues, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it matters. I'm just on my soapbox here. I'm ranting a little bit because I'm just like, how do you get that?
I'm just confused because I just thought that there was nothing inside of that box and it just comes like that. I don't know how it's made. I don't know what's in there.
Yeah, right.
I just turn it on and I play my games.
Yeah, dude.
If you tell me there's a cooling system in there, I'll believe you.
Well, surely you have to know. You have to wonder, what is that sound, that extremely loud noise coming from my PS4 Pro? I wonder what that is. You have to ask that question at some point, right?
I just put the TV volume up. I mean, I don't think that's the
Man, where does
that's the
that sound? Where does
solution
that
here.
sound coming from? I'm gonna turn my
Let
TV
me
up.
just drown it out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna inquire on what that is or could be. You know, my console could be getting ready to explode, but
As long as it doesn't crash. I'm not saying like Sony shouldn't fix that issue. Go for it, fix it. But like personally, I'm not gonna focus on the small details. You can, and you can tell me about the parts and like the things that they're replacing, and I'll sit here and listen. But I'll just kind of like nod along because some of these things that you're telling me, they make sense. But like it is
well,
what it
because
is.
here's what you have to understand, right? Like to bring it down to a more casual perspective. Well, before
Yeah,
doing that,
bring it down to my level.
hold on. Let me acknowledge Ben Kai here once again. Appreciate the super chat. He's asking if we have seen the Sonic movie. He says it was actually fun and that he misses the Dreamcast. I can confirm I have not seen the Sonic movie. Not a huge fan of Sonic. I have nothing against him. I just don't know if I'm going to see that movie. If I do, I'll probably see it when it's out of theaters. Brown Sugar, have you seen the Sonic movie? Is that a movie you
Is
care
it
about?
is it Ben Kai or is it Bon Kai? Because like I think
I think it's Ben
that
Kai.
might be from an anime or something. But
Well, I'm
from
saying
Bleach,
Ben
if I
Kai.
had to guess.
Ben. I'm saying Ben Kai.
Yeah, okay, then you're right.
You're avoiding
No,
the
I haven't
question,
seen
man. Did
it.
you see Sonic or not?
I haven't seen it. I know Jim Carrey does the voiceover for Sonic, right?
No, he actually plays the bad dude, whatever his name is. That's how
Okay. I mean,
unfamiliar
I
with
heard it
Sonic
on
I
the
am.
radio, so I was just assuming. Um, please don't throw any stones at me. But if you want, man, we can go see it.
No,
Are there
I'm
like
good,
any other
man.
movies that you
I'm
currently
not.
want to see, or
No, no, I'm not
yeah, with
interested
the
in a.
virus being out there, and Sony
I'm
canceling
staying
their
indoors,
convention.
man.
Yeah, yeah,
See,
gotta
Ben
avoid
is
it.
saying MBG is right. It's Ben Kai.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, yeah. Um. All right. So, what I wanted to do real quick though, before moving on to the final topic here, where we're just going to talk about some games, is I just to bring it down to a level that maybe helps you understand the situation a little bit better. Is the reason why some people are looking into this information so intensely with the cooling system and everything and the potential of that signaling that there could be heating issues is because if you remember back with the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360, I don't know if this is a problem that plagued you or not. I believe I think, yeah, you owned the Xbox 360 for a little bit of time there. There was the red ring of death, and the main reason was because of heating issues. They couldn't cool down the original Xbox 360 enough, and they had this massive issue where just like, there was just so many people who were buying these consoles and they were just breaking because they were overheating that Microsoft had to pay, I think, like $1 billion to like rectify the situation and get it, and fix it for people basically. And so that's why people look into this and they get a little bit concerned when they hear this because they're like, oh, is this a possible sign that the PS5 could have some type of heating issue? If so, I sure hope Sony can make sure that that doesn't happen because you don't want to see another red ring of death situation. So that's why people care about this. And Devil Child says the PlayStation 3 had the yellow light of death. Yeah, but I think that was way less common than the 360's red ring of death. So if you were wondering why people care about that, that's mainly why. And also because it maybe means that we won't have to worry about this thing being nearly as loud as the PlayStation 4 Pro
I'm sure
currently
they probably
is.
have already rectified that issue and moved on to other problems that we probably don't even know about. For all we know, they're probably already working on PS5 Slim already.
Yeah, right. No, I think it would
I
be
wouldn't worry too
probably
much about it.
PS5 Pro, if anything, is probably what they're already contemplating. And there will be a PS5 Pro. Sony basically confirmed it at some point that there will be. So the final thing I want to do here is I want to do. We're just going to talk games right now, and there's a few different. Well, we already talked about Dreams, so we're not going to talk about that. But there's two other things I want to mention here. The first is I want to talk about the Order 1886. I know this is a little bit random, but I want to talk about the Order 1886 because I played this game not too long ago, and it really surprised me, mainly because it had its issues for sure, but I just mainly want to see a sequel because I want to see the full potential of it actually come out. And they celebrated their 5-year anniversary recently since it came out in 2015. Did you ever play this game?
Yeah, did you say you played this game recently? It's been out for years, man.
Yeah, I know. I'm late to the party, but it was an enjoyable game, and so I guess I'm just wondering, like, if you have played it, is this a game you would like to
Yeah,
see a
yeah,
potential sequel to?
I was so hyped for that game, and I still remember playing it, but it was very short, and I was hoping that like they would come out with some sort of expansion or like additional things for it, but like I don't think they ever did, and I'm glad they're making a sequel.
Well, we don't know for sure.
Yes, I mean I in my mind they are
In your mind,
because
I mean, in my mind, they
they
have to
would have
be,
to,
right?
right?
Like,
Like
some. I
there
mean,
was
it just
nothing
there's
wrong
too
with
much
other than
potential.
it being too short. Yeah.
There's too
So
much potential.
I would definitely play it. That's there are a lot of games that I wouldn't play or I wouldn't even go near, but that one definitely one of my favorites. I was so hyped for it. I watched so many trailers, and when it came out and I was able to just kind of beat the game in a matter of like less than 2 days, I was slightly disappointed because there was really not much left to do.
Yeah, I mean that was the big problem with the Order 1886 is that it was very short and there was some gameplay issues where in certain areas there just wasn't enough gameplay or they tried to make it like there's too many like QTEs and whatnot. But yeah, I really loved the world and the characters that they established, and I guess like I'm just mentioning this because they were celebrated. They tweeted out Ready at Dawn, the makers of the game. They tweeted out their 5-year anniversary, and it was a little bit random, and it makes me think, well, maybe this is them, subtly hinting at a potential sequel.
Yeah,
Um,
it was definitely like ahead of its time when it comes to
Visually, I'd say
the
it was, yeah.
not only visually but like when it comes to the mechanics, and like it kind of reminds me of like not to kind of go back to my favorite game series or anything, but Metal Gear Solid 4, man, like that game was ahead of its time, and I would kind of
I think you confuse
I don't
ahead
want
of
to
its
put them on the
time with
same.
overly complex when it comes to Metal Gear Solid 4. But no, I agree. Like I like complex control schemes. I'm assuming that's what you're alluding to, right?
Somewhat, but we'll kind of move on from
No, no,
here.
no. Go ahead. I'm curious to see like what about.
No, 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 no.
I didn't mean to interrupt
I'm
you, man.
done.
I'm
That's
curious.
okay.
Well,
Just move
Ben
on.
Kai here. Once again, appreciate the super chat. Says someone told me don't pre-order the console. They always have issues with the first batch. He's not wrong. What do you guys how do you guys and the chat feel about that? Well, I'll let you answer this one first, Brown Sugar. How do you feel about being the first to adopt a new console? Do you think that the
Well,
chances of it having
I
an
would
issue are
have
higher?
to ask, how do you know the difference between the first batch and the second one? Like, do you just
I guess it's just timing
wait
of when
X
you
amount
buy
of
it.
time,
Yeah.
or I don't know. If you have that concern and you're really hyped for it, I would buy some sort of warranty. I know like Best Buy is really good with honoring their warranty.
Yeah,
So
that's
if
true.
you have that concern, you can always go that route,
That's a good
or you
point.
can wait
Yeah.
if you're willing to. But if you're MBG, you're probably gonna get like three PS5s day one in case the
Yeah,
first
man.
one breaks. You still
Just you
have
never
two.
know. Got to make sure you have that third one because if that second one goes, you don't want to be in that situation. Me personally, I mean, I understand the concern, but the excitement will always get the better of me. I'm always going to be like, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. I just hope it doesn't break. But like you said, I'll probably buy the warranty if I'm an early adopter. And then we have Bidalda. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. Appreciate the super chat. You're saying Elden Ring is all that matters. And so, yeah, talking games here for a minute. Elden Ring, where is that game? A lot of people thought that it was going to be releasing spring or within like a couple months from now this year. That's not looking likely. It's looking likely that it's a next gen game at this point. So, Brown
I don't
Sugar,
know,
how
MBG.
do you feel
Maybe
about Elden Ring?
you can create it for this person in dreams. You think you
Yeah,
can do that for him or her?
dude, it would be the worst abomination ever. It wouldn't even be playable. I don't know.
It
I
would
don't know
be
how to
funny.
create.
I would like to see you create something.
No, dude,
And
I went in there and I looked at the tools and I'm like, I'm out. I'm out. I'm gonna leave
I'm
this
just
to
gonna
people
go
who
play
actually know what
PT.
they're
Yeah.
doing. For real though, like it was pretty overwhelming at first. But how do you feel about Elden Ring? Is that a game you're looking forward to? Elden Ring, if you don't know, you should know. You filthy casual. You should know. It's the next game from Software, and they're saying it's basically like a spiritual successor to Dark Souls. I mean, you literally have Dark Souls as your profile picture here. So, I'm assuming you're excited for it.
I have Dark Souls as my profile picture. I just kind of, I don't know how I ended
Dude,
up with that
people
image.
cannot tell if you're like joking or not. At least to me, I'm pretty sure they can't tell if you're joking.
Hey, maybe I'm a casual. Maybe I'm just a guy that you found because you needed someone to do a podcast with, or,
Hey man,
maybe I'm a
my
gamer. Or
requirement,
maybe I actually play games.
my minimum
But
requirement is you had to have beaten Dark Souls. Okay, so unless you lied,
did you have me fill out like some sort of application? I just remember taking a drug test and
nah,
barely
man.
passing it. But yeah, I'm very excited, but there's a lot of other games that I'm definitely gonna play that I know about. As long as it's happening, I'm kind of happy with it. I'm excited, and maybe there's gonna be a time where I may start playing Dark Souls again, or I may just play something else that's similar to it. But
I mean,
it would be great if we can get some more information on it.
yeah, I agree. It's a little bit difficult to be super hyped for it because it is, they've been so quiet. But we have Spider-Man here. I appreciate the super chat. You said if the PlayStation 5 is delayed until 2021, will I get the Xbox Series X at launch? Well, to answer that question, probably not. I have my Xbox One X, and I barely play it as it is. I mean,
I
to be
think I would
honest,
just
I
buy
would.
PS3 and PS2 and stack them and call it PS5.
Yeah, right. Well,
I would be able to
that could
play old
work.
games.
I wonder if Sony has tried that yet. I mean, that could work for them.
I'm
That
sure
could be a way to
someone
save
has tried
money.
that. Yeah.
But
Isn't like 3 plus 2?
yeah, dude, I
Go
know
on.
it's simple. Would you do that though, Brown Sugar? Like if the PS5, I don't think you would, because you were making it sound like you're just kind of like, hey, when the PS5 comes out, it comes out, right?
Yeah, I mean at this point, like you and all the viewers currently watching us, they kind of they should understand that. Like I get excited and I get hyped, but I'm willing to wait for things. And if you're willing to buy me Xbox Series X, then I'll definitely take it and probably
Not
not
gonna
even turn it
happen,
on.
man.
But I'll try. I'll try to go on and play with you. But
Nah, man, I'm not, dude. Listen, like if the PS5 did get delayed, there's no way I would just be like, I need the Series X now. Like it just wouldn't
dude,
happen.
you would be so depressed. Like I think
You know
you would
what
just
though?
like
It would be depressing. It would be difficult because I'd be like on my channel here, be like, "Hey guys, MBG here. The Series X is out today. PS5 was supposed to be out by now. It's not gonna be. So today we're gonna
I
talk about
sent a
why the
lot of
Xbox
emails to
Series X
Sony. I
sucks."
asked them if they could if they could ship one out to me, just me, and I would promote it for them, but they haven't gotten back to me yet. Still waiting. I could see you. I could see you harassing Sony day in and day out if
Where's
that
my
happened.
PS5, Sony? You promised me. Yeah, we could see a situation like that. But the final thing I wanted to talk about here, and I think it kind of segues nicely going from we talked a little bit about Elden Ring and Dark Souls a little bit, is Nioh 2. Nioh 2 is I think it's the next PS4 exclusive that's coming out. Maybe there's something coming out in between them, but it's the one that I'm looking forward to. A lot of people over time have recommended to me that I play Nioh 1. It's very much like a Souls game. It's very Souls-like. It's apparently very difficult, just as difficult. I never did play the first one. I did look into it, though, and it definitely caught my eye. And so I guess I'm just expressing my excitement for Nioh 2. I haven't been following it too closely, but I know that you might be interested in this as well, Brown Sugar. I believe between February 27th and the 1st, they're going to have like a playable demo that you can go play for free on your PS4, which I'm going to do that as well. But it comes out like March 13th, and is that a game you're looking forward to? It's very much a Souls-like game. It's just more like samurai-esque, I guess. I don't know. I could be wrong on that, but it
Yeah,
has its
I think
differences.
the second one looks great. I've seen a lot of trailers. I've been trying to keep up with the news. Do you think like, or maybe they even have the first one? Do you think they'll remaster it or re-release it
I
for
don't think they
better
need the
quality, or
remaster. I
like,
think they actually have pro upgrades for it, like PS4 Pro upgrades. Don't quote me on that. I feel like it has to, but either way, I feel like it's not old enough for them to like. Because I think the first one, if you're not aware, it came out in like it was actually I think 2016 or something like that. Like it was actually maybe the chat can let us know. But I know it's not an old game. I mean, it's getting a sequel here, but I guess what I'm going to be interested in is finding out if it's as difficult as the Dark Souls games, because the Dark Souls games could be like really, really, really brutal at times. And I've heard some people say that Nioh's actually harder, which I'm like, okay, a new challenge, I guess. And so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll talk about it once I play it. I'll talk about it more, obviously, let you know my experience.
it might be one of those games play out of order if you kind of wanted to, but
I don't know if they're connected
depending,
or not.
yeah, maybe we can pick up the first one and just kind of. Do they have like any sort of buddy system? Is there a
I
co-op
do.
aspect
I
like
believe
Dark Souls or?
I know Nioh 2 is co-op. I'm not sure about the first one, but I know Nioh 2 is going to have co-op, so that's pretty
Yeah,
cool. And
maybe
I
we
think
can
it'll
look
work
into
just
it.
like Dark Souls, if I'm not mistaken. So, Alex Fitz says Resident Evil Outbreak remastered. Yeah, I
Is that
agree
the
with
guy
that.
who was calling me an accuser earlier, or is
It
that a?
is. Yeah,
Yeah,
accuser of the
just
brethren is what he
what does that
said.
even mean? Like
I think it
Alex
comes from
Fitz, explain
that
that.
Walmart clip. That Walmart clip of that lady freaking out, if I'm not mistaken.
You'll have to send it to me,
Yeah,
but
but
just
Resident
ignore
Evil
him.
Outbreak remastered, I 100% back that, and I agree with that. I would absolutely love to see a remaster of that game ahead of its time, in my opinion, in some ways. And I just think like a modern rendition of it would be great. I know we're getting the I forget the name of it, but we're getting a multiplayer mode with Resident Evil 3 remake. But I don't know. I was really hoping that that's what it was going to be, like a Resident Evil Outbreak, but it's not. So yeah. But that's pretty much it for all the topics I have here today. Again, it was kind of a more of a quiet week. There wasn't anything major that happened, so obviously the podcast was going to suffer a little bit because I already do like daily content, and we're kind of just talking about a lot of the same stuff. So I pretty much said
Don't
everything
forget
I
to
have to
like
say.
if you think MBG is going to get clapped on the bus. Obviously,
Yeah, there's probably
yeah,
people listening right now who have
that's
no
the
idea
major
what that even
takeaway here.
means. But yeah, be
I
sure
I
to
don't know what
leave
that
a like.
means. I'm just kind of
I don't
going
know
with it.
either.
Sounds funny.
But be sure to leave a like on the stream on your way out. That's pretty much going to do it for episode number 5. So, yeah, hopefully if everything goes well, hopefully I will see you guys back here next week. I don't know if it's going to be on Saturday or Sunday. We'll have to see about that, but I will let you guys know ahead of time. But I appreciate everybody who has showed your support here. And yeah, again, on your way out, leave a like. Brown Sugar, is there anything else you have to say before we end this here?
I don't know. I think the last thing from what I remember, it wasn't like my thing like keep it real or something like that. I haven't really thought about it. I'll I'll try to come up with something better next week.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, you don't have to come up with anything, but if you want to, I'm fine with that
All
as
right. I
well.
mean, that's what you
So
say, considering, you know what? I'll just let it go.
yeah,
I'll let
you
it
just
go.
you come up with your thing,
He
man. All right,
abuses me. No, just kidding.
you got time, all right? You got time to
All
come
right.
up with whatever you want to come up with. But so help me God, if next week you don't have something ready. I'm just kidding. We're just kidding, guys. We're just kidding.
Yeah,
But
please. Yeah, he's kidding. Maybe not. Who knows?
all right. But really, though, that's gonna do it, guys. Appreciate you showing up, and we will catch you hopefully next week. If not, be sure to check out the content I'll have coming over the course of next week. But until then, take care, guys.
See ya.